Hi, everybody. Steve, thank you. It's Tuesday. I'm gonna make a big deal of Tuesday like you do Fridays. With that, we'll find a comfortable seated shape or lie on your back for a little bit to catch our breath. So, giving yourself a few moments to find, build, create a supportive shape. If you're sitting, giving yourself a moment to feel the bone breathing down. More natural, easeful lift up of your spine. Soft across the shoulders, the neck, into the face and the jaw. As one of my meditation teachers often reminds us, sitting upright, not uptight. Very helpful for me anyway. And if you're lying on your back, again, connecting to the ground, the earth beneath you. Letting the back of your skull out to your shoulders, the ribs, the hips feel a little heavier, maybe a little more supported, or for some of us, a lot more supported by the earth. And I'm going to be quiet for, maybe 15, 20 seconds, allowing you just to check in, drop out of your head a little bit into your breath. And then reminding ourselves that we have total agency over our practice. So some of us have been doing yoga for years, and others of us, this is our very first class. So you know your body better than anyone else, so please slow down if you need to. If the class isn't challenging enough and you've been doing a regular yoga practice and you want to throw in something more challenging, you can go rogue and throw in something more challenging, right? It is all about you. So with that, let's again turn our attention back into our body's breathing, allowing your mind to drop or come down into your body. We're going to work a little bit on upper back strength and upper abdominal connection with your upper back. So I'm going to start just by being in this exact shape you're in. You don't need to move. Just bringing attention to your chest. So it's really easy for us to be chest breathers, to take really big gaspy breaths way up in our chest. So we're going to work here for maybe a minute and a half on trying to quiet down this big chest breath. So if it's helpful to you, you could put a hand up on your chest anywhere, maybe your sternum part or on the front of the shoulder, wherever your hand can go. And you're just gonna invite your breath to just come into your hand, but that movement to be a little softer, a little more gentle. With that, we need to guide awareness down into your lower abdominals. And this is where that engaged breathing that we work on every week can be so helpful. So bringing awareness to your lower abdominals, your navel, You feel the breath down in your lower body. You could even put a hand down on your navel or the front of your hips if that's helpful. And feeling the breath in your lower hand. Feeling the breath without quite so much movement in your upper hand or in your chest. So taking maybe 5 more breaths here. You can still feel breath in your chest. Your collarbones are still floating up and down in relationship to a connection of the breath down into your lower abdominal area. You can still feel your rib cage knitting together like we work every week. So as you exhale, hopefully you still feel or come back to that feeling of a deep hug. When you inhale, you thread that awareness into your inhale. Tone and strength, engage breathing, a little less movement in your chest. And then take 2 full exhales. And we're all going to roll onto our backs, work a little bit with the core and a little bit with your upper backs, okay? So coming onto your backs, let's bring your knees up over your hips right away. So legs come up into tabletop. And then let's bring your hands onto the tops of your thigh bones. So your fingertips can even just wrap around your knees a little bit, or you can go a little bit lower right on your thigh bones. Elbows are going to be off of the floor, okay? And you can let your elbows swing a little bit. So you don't have to squeeze them into your rib cage. Let your elbows swing a little bit. Flex your feet and then press your arms. Not just your hand. Press your arm into your leg and pull your leg into your arm and take 3 breaths. Then with your exhale, let it go, relax. And bring everything down to the floor and just let everything that can rest, rest. I'm going to do it 1 more time. So bring your knees back up over your hips, flex your feet. Now, before we go this time, a little more challenging, feeling what you can't see. Come into your back shoulder area. And try to get your arm connected into your upper back. So you might feel this a little more, say, from your shoulder blade through the back of the shoulder into your tricep. Back of the arm. So the whole arm, not just your fingers, not just your hands or wrists, your whole arm is going to press into your legs. And your legs are going to respond by pulling back. All right. Now, a couple weeks ago, we worked with action and resistance. So you might turn your resistance all the way up to a 10, really push hard. You might be working more at a 5 or a 2. Remember action and resistance? We're going to review that in just a couple moments, but hang out here, 3 more breaths. And you feel the back of your tricep, the back of your arm push into your leg, and then rest. Let everything come down and rest. Shake things out if you need to. And then bring your hands behind your head and let your elbows float up to the ceiling. All right, so when your elbows come up to your ceiling, feel your sternum breastbone in your front body and let it be nice and heavy. So there's lots of space in the back part. You're going to take your elbows out towards the floor and squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit. Feel your shoulder blades give a little bit of retraction or a whole lot of retraction. And then do it again. Take your elbows up, wide space in the back of your heart, protract your shoulder blades, and let your elbows come out nice and wide and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Find just the right place for you. How do you know it's just the right place? It's not going to pinch. You're going to feel space in the back of the heart. You're going to feel ease across the front of the armpit shoulders. All right, take a couple breaths when you got that spot. And then the exhale knits the rib cage. Draw the ribs into the floor with your exhale. Take an inhale. And like we worked on Friday, you're going to exhale, draw your rib cage down into the floor. Ribs go down, shoulders lift up, head lifts up, look into your belly. Inhale, lower back down. So we've been working on this in a couple classes, working from the core first. So feel the upper abdominals and the ribs connect, then lift the shoulders, and then lower down. Try one more like that. And when you come up, hold. Some of us might want a little more challenge. If you want more challenge, find the back of your arm tricep, holding your head from your arms. Use your arms to hold your head. And then pick up your knees and bring your knees over your hips, legs and feet. Lower your shoulders and your head and do 2 more little sit-ups. From the rib abdominal connection first. And lower down. Next time you come up in the little sit-up, hold. And pause and check in. Can you feel the strength across the upper back into the tricep? The arms hold the head. Your upper abdominals nice and strong to knit and let the ribs feel the floor. And then as slow as you can, lower down and let everything that can rest. Give yourself 3, 4, 5 breaths. Noticing what you notice. One more full inhale, exhale. Quiet chest breathing. Strong, engaged core breathing. And roll all the way over. And just come on up to sitting for a moment. So if you're home and you need something to sit on, find something to sit on. We're not going to be here super long. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, we worked on action and resistance. We started that practice by doing some bicep curls. So right now I'm just doing a bicep curl without any resistance. Then we're going to add resistance. So it's like there's an opposing force to the action. Okay. Now that opposing force can work, right? Like on a scale of 1 to 10. So if I'm at a 1, that's not a lot of resistance. And if I'm at a 10, that's like the max resistance. We're all really different. Every exercise pose we do in class is really different in a different part of our body. So that scale is going to change. Okay. So we're going to do this exercise, but we're going to do it with our wrists for a moment. So you're going to take both arms, I'll go sideways so you can see the wrist. You're going to come into stop signs. Now I could just block like this with, you know, a 0.5 resistance, or I can add resistance and say I'm going to add like an 8. I'm going to work a little bit more. You pick your resistance and then moving through this movement. Keeping your hands in stop signs. And really trying to work in that wrist joint. Now you can change the resistance if you need to, that level. Right? Then the next time you come up and you find your stop, you're going to add that into your elbow. So if I have no resistance, I'm back here. If I have too much resistance, I might lock the elbow out. So, right, if you're going to bend and straighten, like do a chest press, add resistance at the elbow. I don't know how much you need. I'm not you. We're all really different. So you straighten your arm. You're going to have an isometric hold here at the elbow. So we're not moving it, holding it, but you can still feel the resistance, yeah? Okay, next piece, you're going to draw your sternum back a little bit. So find your breastbone and drop back and push forwards. And feel really comfortable here. So you know you can come as we're in tabletop, you can do tabletop right here. Okay? And come back when you're not bearing weight in your hand, wrist, arm, shoulder. Now you're going to take this over and build tabletop. Okay? So take what we just did and bear weight into your table. Super strong fingers, stop signs. Action, resistance, isometric connection at your elbow. Now, look at your hands and try to find about, if not pretty equal weight from your thumb pad to your pinky pad. Want to try and really even that weight out across the palm a little more. It's really easy to fall into one side of the palm. We really want to find both sides a little more equally and push down. Now draw your sternum up a little bit. Great, now draw your navel up just enough that you can find strength and you're not dropping your rib cage. And just see how this feels. All right, walk your knees back. Take a big step back with your knees. Draw a line from your heart to the floor and keep your heart right where it is and drop your elbows nice and slow to the floor. Triceps and upper back. Upper abdominals. Try not to let your rib cage drop. There you go. And then push into your hands with lots of strength. Use resistance and lift back up. With resistance, bend your elbows, forearms come down, 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 closer, 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 closer to the floor. Upper back, shoulder blade work. Excellent. Just like that, everyone. Couple more. Your elbows don't have to touch the floor. Work with resistance. Working with resistance. Great, and then come on up and just sit back for one more moment. I promise we're going to do something that looks like a yoga pose in a little bit. All right, it's nice to do some foundational functional work for all of us here in the room and at home. Just so that when we go into yoga poses, you have a little bit better idea of what we're talking about and how it feels in your body. So that last exercise, when we go down, right, we're going for more parallel arms. Not waking out like this. Okay, so that's going to come and be important in different shapes and poses we do. So bring your arms up and try and find parallel and do it like this a few times. Okay, so that when you come down here, right, and you're coming here, right, we don't really want to wing the elbows out like this. Okay. We don't want to make like, what is that? Would that be a pyramid? Not here, right? More parallel. Now, if you have really tight shoulders, you're definitely going to feel that. So that's why we're adding resistance and we're going really slowly on purpose. Two more. And then we're going to straighten your arms. You're going to build your version of tabletop. Then we're gonna try and push into your thumb and your index finger and feel your shoulder blades on your back. You're in a rectangle. You want more challenge, you're either gonna tuck your toes under and do a floating tabletop, or you're gonna take your legs back to a straight arm plank. If this is too much on your wrist, you're gonna sit all the way back and do a weightless table like we just did. You're gonna take 10 seconds. Floating table, plank, table, or we'll call this one air table. Keep breathing. Then when you feel your next couple of breaths, downward facing dog. All right, push your butt up and back. And pedal out your legs a little bit. And then build your down dog and come back to your upper back. Can you feel again what you can't see, your shoulder blades on your back? So you can push a little bit into your thumb and index fingers to give the shoulder blades a little different awareness. Make sure you can feel your pinky pad of your hand pressing down. Isometrically, action resistance in your elbows. You don't want to bend your elbows, but you don't necessarily want to lock them out either. 2 more breaths. You got this. Lots of strength in the upper back. Sweet. Exhale. Find your way all the way up to standing. Take out your wrists. All right. Bring your wrists out, hands out in front of you. Arm bones draw into your back, right? Arms are parallel. Nice and slow. Action resistance in your wrist movement. Just 3 times. I'm gonna give people a little option here. If you struggle in down dog because of wrist, right? You can do your down dog in the air. We'll all take our arms up. High five. All right, and then we're gonna take your hip creases and draw back and just bend the knees. So it might be a little bit like a chair pose. But your upper back, so your pelvis to your ribs to your shoulders are just in an elevated down dog. It's a standing up down dog. And now, feel your feet. Big toe to pinky toe, equal weight. Reach your arms out, stretch through the back of the arm. So if down dog hurts your wrist, you can always come here. The rest of us are gonna hold apart. I'm gonna touch what's available, floor, shins, or thigh bones. And then we're gonna feel again your upper back shoulder blades. Lift your chest a little bit, look out in front of you. Pause, put your shoulder blades on your back. Can you re-feel your tabletop here? Build your tabletop. Then fold forward and step back. Build your downward facing dog. Okay, a little more challenging. Bend your knees a lot. If you're gonna do like some crazy squat and then push up and come forward to a plank pose. Push back, bend your knees a lot. Come forward to a plank. If this is way too much for your wrists, come down to your knees. Come back to tabletop, push your bum way back. Bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. 2 more. I know it can be a lot. It can be quite challenging if you're in down dog squatting coming forward. So really paying attention, changing the action and resistance, or taking a break when you need to. We'll sit back, either child's pose or down dog for 3 breaths. Hang out, give yourself some awareness, breath, body, mind. Great, and then we'll all come back down to a tabletop. Yeah, I like where this is going. I see people naturally going down on their forearms. So I'm going with your lead. We're going to go down on your forearms. You can stay right here, more challenging. Poof up your back a little bit. So feel your sternum draw up, feel your navel draw up. Floating table. Lift your knees. Or keep your knees down. Great. Maybe you lift your butt up, and start to straighten your legs. More of an elbow dog or a dolphin-like pose. 2 breaths. Upper back, triceps. Lower everything down. Push your butt back. Take a child pose. If it's too uncomfortable in child's pose, please roll to your side or roll to your back. You get a 5 breath break. Take care of yourself through your breathing. Follow your next exhale all the way through. And then figure out how to come all the way on up to stand. And then just give yourself a moment to take a standing mountain. That's where we just stand and hang out. Give ourselves a moment to reconnect to the ground, feel our breath. Try and drop out of your head again. Head into the body. When you feel your exhale, just bring both arms up, double arm shakes. Stop signs. So it's like a standing plank pose. A little bit of action and resistance in the wrists, in the elbows. Arm bones connecting a little more into your back. So shoulder blade, tricep. Bring some attention there. All right. And then swing your arms down and back behind you. And then swing your arms back up. Try not to move your spine a whole lot. Just swing the arms. Just one more. You're going to end with your arms behind you and shoulder extension. So if you take the arms back, upper abdominals, 2 sides of the shoelace knit together so that we're not pushing the rib cage so far forward. I call it the Titanic. We're not doing the Titanic. You're trying to knit that together. Then you're going to take that chair pose or that standing down dog. And then you're going to stand and push your arms back. 2 more. Great, going to find your chair pose or standing down dog and take 2 or 3 breaths. If it's too much to have your arms up, then bring your arms down and put them in your hip sockets. Great, and push in your heels, straighten your legs, tip forward, push your bum back, tip over and come right back up to standing 2 more times, warming up your hips. Sweet, and then come all the way back up. Elbows into your armpits, suspender baker pose. All right, remember like your tabletop, right? We're trying not to have a lot of rounding. So here you go, when you tip forward, it's like a table. You need to bend your knees a little bit, do it. Can you take your tabletop all the way over to here, and then bring your tabletop all the way back up? Try it 2 more times. We're going to add on. So after 2, you're in tabletop. Sweet. 3rd one, we're going to hold in that standing table. Okay? You're going to stand right here, hold into your table in your banker's pose. Find your upper abdominal rib knit connection. Tie up the upper abdominal like you are your shoelaces, right? Can you feel your upper back, shoulder blade to tricep? Then stand up. All right, find your chair or standing down dog. Give yourself a couple of breaths. Keep your legs right where they are, bring your hands down, and step your left foot all the way back to build a lunge. Come up to a high lunge, level hips. Back heels lifted, okay? Find your plank spine, you're just upright in your plank. If you need banker's pose or suspender pose, go here. Another way you could challenge yourself is pretend you have back pockets and you're bringing your hands back. So you're going to take your tabletop over, and you're going to bring your tabletop back up. 2 more. You're tipping your table to projected lunge. You're bringing your table back up. Next time you come to your high lunge, pause. Front of your hips are going to lift up. We're going to sweep your arms forward, stop signs, and then take the arms up to the ceiling and tip your hips back a little bit to get a little more stretch in that back left hip flexor. 2 breaths. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Hands to the floor. Step your back foot forward. Great, press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way on. Exhale, fold all the way over. Pick your shape, down dog, tabletop, maybe child pose. 3 breaths. Everyone come down to tabletop. Add the action resistance piece in the wrist, the elbows. Feel your back shoulders into your tricep. Draw your sternum up, draw your navel up. Challenge yourself. Maybe this is your challenge. Same weight in your thumb to your index finger to your pinky finger. Maybe you take floating table. Maybe you take plank. You're gonna hold for about 30 seconds. You got it. Keep breathing. If it's really hard, breathe. If it's really, really hard, rest. Nice to see people in their own shapes. Yes, elbows. Some of us are in down dog. Great, you go back to down dog or child's pose, you get a little break. Woo! Aren't you glad you showed up today? Yeah. Yeah. Upper back strength, arm strength. Shake out your wrists if you need. Okay. Here we go. We got to come up to standing somehow, team. So luckily we're all going to find our own way. Come on up. Give yourself a big stretch. And hang out. Back to your suspender banker's pose for a moment. Breathe. Okay, bend your knees a little bit with resistance, right? If I bend my knees without resistance, I'm gonna fall on my bum, right? So you gotta add some resistance. Okay, take your arms up, so it's like a standing down dog, right? Or maybe a chair pose. All right, bring your hands to your hips, step your right foot all the way back. Build your tabletop. Build your plank. You were just there, right? So arms can come, upper back to triceps, upper abdominals. You feel that shoelace. Maybe your arms come up just to stretch for a moment. Okay, then hands can come to your hips. You're going to tip your table. And you're going to come up 2 more times on your own. Next time you tip over, maybe hold there for a moment. And come up to your high lunge. Feel your back heel lift. Tighten up your upper abdominals, arms can come up. Tip your hips back, stretch that right hip flexor, 2 or 3 breaths. Then exhale, long spine, hold all the way over. Take your rectangle, your plank all the way to the floor. Step back. Right away, find tabletop, plank, floating table, child's pose, down dog. You pick 3 breaths. Nice, and then with an exhale, we're gonna lower all the way down onto our bellies for prone mountain. When you come down on your belly, you're gonna put your left hand down, arm down, and you're gonna put your right hand on top of your left. Okay, and then just stack your forehead on your hands and take 2 or 3 breaths through your back. All right, now turn your gaze to your right elbow so your left ear comes on your hand. Draw your shoulder blades down out of your ears. So you're going to lift your right elbow a little bit off the floor and see if you can feel your shoulder blade to tricep. And then tap your elbow to the floor and lift it back up. Now, upper abdominals are going to stay nice and strong. You don't want to lift your chest way up. You want to keep your chest down and just lift the elbow. You can feel that upper abdominal strength through your armpit to the shoulder blade to the tricep. I'll say it again, upper abdominal through your armpit to the back shoulder tricep. 2 more lifts. Nice and controlled. Great. Then lower the right elbow and switch the gaze to your left side. Lift the left elbow. Lower, nice and slow. So your abdominals stay down and strong. Your chest stays down, this little pec stretch. Tricep, back of the arm into the shoulder blade via the armpit. 2 or 3 more. Great. Lower the left elbow. Come back to your forehead. Try both arms just 3 times. So you're just going to gaze down, lift those elbows. Again, you can have resistance here, right? You don't want to just fling your elbow up. And you don't want to just drop it. Then your elbows are going to come down. And you're going to slide your arms together a little bit. So, right, your hands are going to come to your elbows. You're stacking your forearms down. And you're going to push that top forearm down with lots of strength. Push, push, push. And lift your chest to a little baby cobra. And then lower down. Pause, reach your toes back. Bring your legs together. Maybe lift your legs and lift your chest. Three or four more like that. Inhale long to a different form of baby cobra or locust. And lowering back. Inhale up, exhale down. Got it. Nice. Next time you lift up, hold. Starting to feel the crown of your head lengthening out of your toes. Toes reach back. How long can you feel? 3 breaths. Lots of posterior back strength. And then try not to just drop down, slowly lower. And then just rest and breathe into your back. Sweet, and then when you're ready, you push back up to a tabletop. We'll do 3 cat-cows, so just come on up. Just roll through your spine into your cat shape. Into your cat. More challenging, add that idea of resistance. How could you add resistance into your cat-cow? And then back to your tabletop. Check your hands are strong. I'm going to review what we've gone over. Thumbs, thumb pad to pinky pad, upper back to triceps, upper abdominals, knitting. And then we're going to sit all the way back and bring your legs out in front. You can keep your knees bent. All right, so try to keep your toes down. Okay, we're gonna bring your arms just out in front. You're gonna pull your right elbow back and take a twist to the right. And then come forward and pull your left elbow back and twist to the left. Navel, pubic bone, try to keep them facing forward. Little add-ons here if you want, squeeze your legs together. We're going to do 3 more. If you want a lot more challenge, sit way back. Yes, keep your toes down. Yes, it's okay to have a little round in your back. You are in control and strong. The whole range of motion around and all the way back to center. 2 more on the right, 2 more on the left. Rest when you need to rest. You feel the arm bone. Back of the arm bone in the shoulder blade. Feel that shoulder blade to arm connection. Okay, last one here to the left. Then you'll come back. We'll pull ourselves all the way up and reach up, look up. And then we're going to roll all the way onto your backs. Give yourself a moment, maybe like a full body stretch. And let your knees bend to constructive rest pose. Just a few of these just to stretch out the front of the chest, pecs a little bit. Take your arms up to the ceiling. And then just open your arms to the floor in like a big T and stretch those pec muscles, chest muscles, and then pull your arms back up across and give yourself a big hug. Sweet, just do like 3 more. And feel the back shoulder blade, back of the arm, chest, neck. Excellent. And then bring your arms after this one down by your side. Bend your knee. And just one time here, nice and slowly roll up from your tailbone through your pelvis, low back into shoulder bridge. Slowly come up into your shoulder bridge. This is your opportunity, really. Feel a little more of the back shoulder tricep. More legs, less chest. 3 breaths. So feeling that strength through your upper abdominals, back of the arm. Strength of the hamstrings and the glutes lower down. Take your legs up to the ceiling. Stretch out your hands. All right, we always take the last couple minutes to rest. So, self-care. Give yourself a moment to do a short, meaningful body scan check-in. Maybe you want to do some stretching. Maybe you want to come up to sit and meditate. Maybe you want to lie on your back and meditate, daydream. Follow your breath. You have a couple minutes, so maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You can do very short, meaningful practices, in short amounts of time. I'm going to take the last few moments here in silence. So as you're breathing, returning back to how we started, quiet chest breathing. Might feel a little more movement down in your lower abdominal, lower belly area. Quiet chest. 2 or 3 breaths. Bringing your knees all the way into your chest, stretch out your low back a little bit. And then we'll slowly roll over and come all down to the center. Woohoo! Happy Tuesday, we did it. Up in the car. Thank you. See you Friday.